All right, we are recording. So let's take a look at this lab. And you know, to be honest, it's been a while actually since I've even looked at this lab. So this will be fun. I'll be kind of while I'm showing you, kind of reteaching myself as well. And I also wanted to give a quick pointer before we get started because this will be helpful for anybody watching the video. You know, as you've already figured out, because we're into the semester, you know, you have to make a copy of these things because I've given you access to the master copy. So I won't show how to do that. I won't waste your time on that. But I will point this out. I don't think I've mentioned this before. Another thing you could do, but you don't have to do, is once you've opened this and you've made your version that you can work on the computer, you can hit the share button up at the top right and add me. And again, you don't have to. But if you were to add me, then I'll have access to your file as you're working on it. So even before you're done, I can come in and take a look, and if I see you did something wrong or see that you're on the wrong path, I could, come in, like, let's assume this is one of the things you answered, right? I could come in here and put a comment on it and say, whatever the case may be, like, hey, you're on the right track, but you're not quite there. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. So again, you don't have to, but anybody could share this with me, and I could help them while they're working on their lab. But anyway, to answer your question, let's see here. I've got to find the link first of all, because you were specifically saying, how do we get this information, right? This is what you were wanting to know. Where do we get the biome, the temperature, all this stuff? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's just use my location as an example. I'm from Scott Depot, so I would write Scott Depot. I'm just gonna abbreviate it for now. Scott Depot, West Virginia. I go over here to this interactive website, and it is a little tricky. So I'm glad you asked, and again, I appreciate you letting me do this video so we can help future students. So again, up here, you're going to search for it by place. And again, I'm just using my location as an example, Scott Depot, West Virginia. Oops, help if I typed it correctly. There we go. So once you type it, then you have all this information, right? So I have got the chromatogram, all this information about reptiles and stuff. Okay, so let's look at here. We know it's a temperate deciduous forest, right? So that would be right here. That's where I would write it, right? Temperate deciduous forest. Then we need the average maximum and the average minimum. So again, go back over here. The average maximum temperature. All right, so it's the average minimum is 0. Can you see that? I know it's really hard to see, but can you see where I'm pointing at right there on the right-hand side?
Okay, I can see it.
Okay, yeah. So it's 0 is the average low. Looks like the average high. I don't know. I'm gonna say that's what, 22. I'm gonna call it 22. So go back over here, and I would say 0 to 22. And honestly, you would normally need to write degrees Celsius, but it's included right there, so technically you don't have to. Then we look at the average maximum and minimum precipitation in millimeters. So again, we go back over here, and it's the same graph, but it's
Which
over
the screen look white. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So then it's let's see, 0. Let's see, it's a tough one. I would say that's maybe 100, maybe. Again, it's okay. You're gonna be guessing in some of these, so I would say that's the minimum is 100, maybe, and the maximum I'm gonna call that, I don't know, 140. So again, go back over here, 100 to 140. Species richness. Again, we go back over here. And species richness in this case is just how many species, right? So in that case, I would just pull up a calculator. Well, I hit the calculator button, wait for it to pop up. I could do it on my phone, but I prefer to do it on screen. But anyway, you would add up the 20 and the 38 and the 58, and that's what you would put down. Oh, here it is. Sorry, my computer is being very slow. What I say. So 20 reptiles plus 38 amphibians plus 58 mammals. So 116. And that's what you would write down right here. 116. And also, I should point out, for the record, obviously it's not 100% accurate because That's only reptiles, amphibians, and mammals. What about insects and plants and fungi, all that kind of stuff? So it's not a this isn't a perfect website. And then down here, because now next we need the endangered and critically endangered species. So you're going to hit the more button. There we go. And I believe it's under wildlife. Here we go. Threat level, mammals. Trying to remember. Near threatened. Come on. Maybe this has changed since last time I've seen it. Sorry, bear with me. I apologize. Threat level filter. Come on. There we go. So, critically endangered, 0. Endangered, 0. So that would be the answer for this. 0 critically and critically or endangered species. And that would be the answer. So does that answer your question?
Sure do.
All right. Then I'll stop recording.
Okay.